Hello everybody, Ruby Carbuncle here, and today I will be reading a Pokemon Creepypasta by myself because nobody knows who I am yet, so if you just happen to come across this video, you can learn a little bit more about me and maybe send me your own Creepypasta to read. Now, I will be reading Burned Tower. I coughed, falling to my knees. The dust finally settled and I stood back up. I stared at the Pokeball on the ground. Picking it up, I sighed. It's finally over. Johto is safe. I had beaten Team Rocket and now caught Oh-Oh. Ruby, my trusty Espeon, stood by my side. She was panting loudly from the hard battle. I sent out my Skarmory, and without word from the Kimono girls, I hopped on its back and flew down to Ecruteak City. The Pokemon Center's Nurse Joy welcomed me back and healed my team. After a short conversation, she gave me back my Pokemon and showed me to a room. I laid on the sheets, the battle reflecting through my mind. It had all ended with a swift attack from Ruby. Blee? Huh? I mumbled. Ruby opened her eyes from the end of my bed. Her crystal glowed, illuminating the room. Bwee! It was louder this time. I leaped up out of the bed and stared out the window. A faint green glow appeared. Brandon! I fell backwards at the loud noise. Ruby shrieked and hid under the covers of the bed. Well, it knows my name, I mumbled. Whatever it was, anyway. After a few seconds, I stood back up. A small green Pokemon hovered outside my window. It had small fairy wings and a sparkly appearance. I just stared at it for a few seconds, before it spoke again. You took him. Huh? I said, surprised at this new Pokemon's voice. Earlier, it was cute, like a Pichu's voice. Now, it was darker. The fairy-like Pokemon came closer. Brandon, you took him! Before its words could process through my mind, I was surrounded by an immense light. My mind began to swirl. Before I lost consciousness, I heard a faint cry of Ruby. It was cold. Very cold. I opened my eyes, confused by the sight above me. A small coughing hovered around, and Zubat were all over the place. I was on a wooden floor. Sitting up, I noticed I was in a tower. Bellsprout Tower, I thought? But none of the small grass-type Pokemon were found. Suddenly, the icy-cold feeling was replaced with heat. The feeling was comfortable, but only for a minute. Heat began to take over the place. The Zubat and coughing started frantically fleeing around the place. It didn't take me long to realize that the tower was on fire. The Pokemon raced away, exiting up a ladder opening. I followed them, and soon I was outside. A while later, the tower was completely destroyed and charred. A drizzle of rain began to fall, putting out the last few ashes. I turned around. This is Ecruteak City, I cheered. When memories came back. Then the memories came back. Where was Ruby? Was she trapped? Before I could rush into the remains of the tower, a large bird appeared. It was Ho-Oh. The firebird called loudly, and bright golden feathers began to fall. In the middle of the charred wood, 3 figures appeared. I recognized them from a book I read as a child. Suicune, Entei, Raikou, I whispered, realizing at once that I was living the destruction of the burned tower. The 3 great dogs leaped away, leaving a shower of sparkles behind. I looked up to see that Ho-Oh was gone. I was alone, except for a few coughing and Zubats still close by. I was about to race into the ashes, but a shiny light appeared. A familiar green fairy-looking Pokemon showed up from the sparkling green light. You took him. Light shrouded me once more, and before I could ask it anything, I fell over. I woke up for a second time that day, in the same cold wooden tower. It was dustier than before. Standing up, I made out 3 shapes in front of me. I stared in the almost transparent faces of Suicune, Raikou, and Entei. The great water beast stepped closer to me. You took him, our hero, the one that saved us all those years ago. I suddenly realized what was going on. I took Ho-Oh, I said to myself, my voice lost. Entei stepped up next. He never wanted to go with you. Entei's powerful voice caused me to flinch. Could the Kimono girls have been wrong about Ho-Oh feeling my power? Didn't he want to come with me? That's why we battled, right? To test me? I continued to silently question myself, with fear tugging at me. Then Raikou walked up. You will pay. I stopped cold. I will pay? Fear tore through my body. I stepped backwards, only to be roared at by Entei. You will stay! I didn't want to be here anymore. I raced toward the ladder in the corner of the room. I have to leave. The ladder suddenly disappeared, and Suicune's voice erupted loudly. You will stay here and burn! I screamed, finally finding my voice. "No, wait, I'm sorry." Tears began to fall down my face by now. I was terrified. "It's too late now." Suikun's face twisted. A distorted smile appeared off his face, its cerulean eyes turning into red voids. It laughed wildly, and the other dogs joined in, their faces now horrifying to look at, and the laughing slowly died down as the dogs disappeared. I began to cry. I could barely see any more from the tears in my face. The heat began to come back. Pillars around me caught flame. My breath caught in my throat. Suddenly, a large light shone in the area. The same fairy creature appeared again. "You are truly sorry?" Its voice was sweet and small again. I stared at it before nodding. "Yes, I am. Very sorry," I said between coughs. "Okay, fine then." My body was shrouded again with the bright light. I closed my eyes, this time not fighting the strong pull. "Ruby, you swift!" I opened my eyes. Ruby ran toward Ho-Oh, and the shot of sparkly stars hit at it. Ho-Oh screeched and fell. It was at a critical point of health. I gripped the Ultra Ball in my hand and slowly put it down in my pocket. "I win, Ho-Oh," I yelled at the beast. It stared down at me for a few seconds before flapping its giant wings and leaving the smoky tower top. "I win," I repeated. That was Burned Tower by myself. Thank you for anybody who listened, and I hope to have some subscribers and other story followers. Thank you.